next generation of stock handlers. If you'd like to be part of this exciting journey, contact us via Messenger or visit our website. Let's build tomorrow's leaders today.
Welcome to Afton, Wyoming, where every season brings something worth seeing. In summer, take a short hike to the world's largest intermittent spring, the same spring that feeds the town's drinking water. Whether you're hiking, fishing, or riding ATVs, the trails are open and waiting. In town, stop by local shops and museums, tee off at the golf course, or grab a bite with a family after a day outside. Summer's full of events like the Mountain State Stock Dog Nationals, and Afton knows how to host. In fall, the valley lights up with color. Walk the trail to the Star, fish in our waters, or head out with a local outfitter for a day of hunting. And when winter hits, it shows up in full. We've got groomed ski trails, snowmobiling routes, and fresh powder in every direction. Skate at Starview Park or just explore the quiet that snow brings. Afton doesn't change with the seasons. It just shows a different side of itself, and everyone's worth seeing. Plan your year-round adventures at visitaftonwyoming.com.
Brian Jacobs here with me again here on the SBI Media broadcast with the MSSA. Brian, you've been coming to Afton, Wyoming for these finals for a number of years. What do you love most about Afton?
It's a lot like my hometown. It's quiet, peaceful. It's a lot of country folks, and a good place for kids to be playing, and it's nice weather.
Absolutely. So outside of the finals, if someone's just maybe thinking, I want to go someplace, why should they come to Afton?
Oh, the restaurants are great, the fishing's great, it's affordable, and all those reasons.
That's perfect. Brian Jacobs on the MSSA National Finals.
He's a lot of fun.
For Lorena from Idaho, the National Stock Dog Finals are about good people, fair runs, and a reason to come back year after year.
It's just a big family, so it's always fun to come visit with friends. But then the competition, Steve works really hard to have even cattle, so the competition feels pretty doggone fair as it can be.
Catch Lorena and more in Afton, Wyoming at the Mountain State Stock Dog Association Finals. 10 years in and the largest in the country.
Live from Afton, Wyoming, it's the Mountain State Stock Dog Association National Finals, presented by Nutrena. What's inside counts.
Come clear over to here, but not through there, not around the front. So you're fine. You're fine if you got there without coming through here or around the front. That's pretty much the front. Yeah, that would be okay.
All right. We are in the nursery on the sheep. Sorry, I ran off to walk my dogs. I thought I'd be back in time. I failed. But we're going to do a little adjustment so our camera person doesn't have a post. And we'll do that in momentarily. They changed up the course from the last round. This is Tina Blinn. She comes to us from Gridley, California. And this is H.H. Drew. She's in cattle as well. This is a male, 3-year-old border collie, and they've been trialing for 2 years. We're going to do a little pause at the end of this run to shift the camera so we can get the camera away from the feet of the canopies that are over the top of us. So this nursery class is similar level to the open class. They did do some adjustments of the course so that since they had such a hard time with this 2 and 3 with the open dogs, I think in the end we had maybe 13 dogs that finished the course in open, so they decided to change it up quite a bit. All right, we are out of time, and we are going to take a slight break to fix that panel, and so we'll see you in a minute.
Country Vet Naturals dog food is crafted for hard-working dogs, packed with high-quality protein, essential vitamins and minerals. It's designed to fuel their energy and endurance. No fillers, no artificial additives, just pure natural nutrition for your loyal partner. Our formulas support your dog's digestive health, ensuring they can thrive at their best with comfort and ease. Country Vet Naturals gives your dog the strength and stamina to perform their best. Because when the job's tough, they deserve the best. Power your dog's performance with Country Vet Naturals. Live from Afton, Wyoming, it's the Mountain State Stock Dog Association National Finals, presented by Nutrena. What's inside counts.
All right, this is Nathan Myers in 27 Leo. Again, this is the nursery sheep class. The level's always similar to the open. He comes to us from Cloville, Utah. Leo's in the cattle field, and here in nursery, his 2-year-old border collie. This is his first year trialing. He was the 2026 Cash Cattle Challenge March Trial Nursery Cattle Class winner. That was a mouthful. All right. They're allowing a little more latitude for these nursery handlers. So he's working on number 3. Now he's heading over to 4. Looks like they really opened up 3, so it's more of an opening for those sheep. And this opening isn't quite as tight looking even from this angle. So when they're approaching it, they should be able to see it a little sooner.
Come. Come. Wait. Wait. Wait.
All right, that is completed. Now we're heading to the pen.
Right now. Come. Come. Wait.
Yeah, we're going to try to move her over. We're letting people run and shift in between here so that you can see the pin a little better. All right.
There.
That's the pin.
Wait.
He's doing the MSSA walk. Get there fast. Hit the sheep.
Wait.
And in. The gate needs to be closed. And that's full points. And I have 231 on mine. We'll see what they say.
Nice job, Nathan and Leo. That's a full score of 270 and a time of 231. Up next, we'll have Sarah Vinegar, CT Molly May, followed by Amy Kyle Sack,
This is Sarah Vinegays and CT Molly May. And they're through 1 and 2 on their way to 3. Handlers being able to move out of the line is helping the dogs quite a bit. Sarah comes from Haines, Oregon, and this dog is in both cattle and sheep. It's a female 2-year-old border collie, and she's been trialing her for a year. This is the nursery class. This is based on the dog's age. And we're going to see if you like the camera a little better than where we had it before. The wind's picking up again. That adds to our difficulties. We have 49 dogs in this class. Tonight's our dinner. That's supposed to be at 6 o'clock, and we do a group picture 15 minutes after it ends. They will have a scholarship auction tonight. Okay, so she's trying to get her to get off that. There we go. So we're still trying to adjust where best to be with the camera. So she's now figuring out, because now her and I both are on the ledge.
Lie down. Lie down.
5 sheep as well in this class. I know this is timed, but patience sometimes can pay off. Good job, she caught her side. Judge called the pin. We're moving on. Okay, time ends when the gate is closed. All right, we'll wait for the official time, but that is full points.
Good job, Sarah and Molly May. Both scored 270 and a time of 4:13.
4:13.
Up next, we'll have Amy Nielsen and HR Byrne, followed by Kyle Thackeray and Tilly, and then Dwayne Hurlman and Quinn.
All right, Amy. All right, Amy's coming in. Amy comes to us from Mountain Grove, Missouri. And she's running HR Byrne. And they're running in cattle and out in the field and sheep. 2-year-old border collie. This is her first year trialing. All right, the dog is off. Down the field. Nice pickup, nice outrun. Heading for that first panel. Look at that beautiful countryside behind it. Take a look up for a moment. It's just lovely in this Star Valley. All right, that panel is the tiebreaker. So if the score, so let's say a 270, and they had the same time, 220 and 220, then they would take the time to that first panel would be the tiebreaker. All right, this number 2's lovely. All right, she's taking them across to go to number 3.
I'm going to move these chairs or stairs down.
Oh, you can.
I have to go so close. I'm going to move my reader upstairs. Yeah. Oh, she means roll. Okay, yep. Will do. Thank you. Okay, sounds good. We can do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we've been doing a lot of adjusting up here. All right. She's working on going to number 3. Their handler's line is all right, we're coming up on the pin. Lovely day here in Afton, Wyoming. We are at the Mountain State Stock Dog Finals. Lovely job on the pen. Now she's moving to the repin. Left one behind. There we go. So at scored trials, this part is actually scored. So there's techniques that we do, that putting the stock to the open side before we get down there so that the stock see the opening when you open the gate. We just add to the flow. But perfect score of 270 and
Nice
time
run,
at
Amy and
250.
Vern. That's score 270 and a time of 247.
247.
Up next, we have Kyle Thackeray and Tilly. We're going to skip over Dwayne for just a minute and go to Rebecca Gibson and /J Rye, then Brianna Henderson and Rumble.
All right, this is Kyle, Thackeray, and Tilly. They come to us from Las Lunas, New Mexico. Tilly is a female, 3-year-old Border Collie. They've been trialing for 2 years. They've qualified for the USPCH Nursery Finals in 2026. All right on through the first panel. Very nicely done. All right, now Tilly's working on the second panel, which is right here in front of us. Nice turn there. Now we're heading over to 3. All those sheep going forward is a good thing. They've made this opening a little bigger than it was in open, so hopefully they're going to see that hole. And there they go. Now we're heading over to 4. So, Mountain State Stock Dog Association, you can go to their website, which is .com. It's just the name, mountainstatestockdogassociation.com. You can see the points and the scores and the rankings at the end of the day. And there is a live posting of it. Besides all these videos that you're getting to see, you can also take a look at the rules of what's required. So the dogs need to run without a collar, and the handlers can't have any training aids like a herding stick. All right, we're through number 4. So there's different levels of dogs, of classes. So this is actually nursery, so this all is about the dog. And it's basically an open level course. And that means, oh geez. All right, I'm turning. All right, we just got a good little windstorm, so it's always a little tricky business when that happens. So we're hanging on like for everything. I was hoping my camera person was keeping me out of the wind. All right, there we go. And that is the pin. Okay, we have some nice runs going here. Okay, he's going to head for the 10. He's done a nice job putting them on the other side and setting it up so that they're going to zip right in. He's got to step back, get out of their way. Nicely done. If it was a scored event, we'd be letting him know what a nice job he did on that. Good job. All right, we'll wait for her to give me the time.
Nice job, Kyle and Tilly, with a full score of 270 and a time of 257. Up next, we'll do Rebecca Gibson and /J Rye, followed by Brianna Henderson and Rumble.
Okay, we had some announcements emailed to us. So we'll just let all of you know, because sometimes they live feed some of this stuff. To Thursday start times, open cattle is at 6:30, handlers meeting. Then they'll have the national anthem, followed by nursery cattle in the lower arena, followed by open sheep. All 3 will start once. All meetings are completed. Intermediate sheep will be at 7:30. So now you know tomorrow's schedule. All right, this is Rebecca Gibson and /J Rye. And she's off with a nice pickup. That's a nice outrun and a lift and a fetch through those fetch panels. Now she's heading to this number 2. Just got to take them around the pen. All right, Rye is a female, and she's 1.5 years old, and she's been trialing her for 3 months, and she is a border collie. Now she's moved on to number 3. These handlers have a handler's line, this back section, so they could go across. Got a good run going, lined up here, occasionally doing a command for these young dogs, and they're missing the whistle. Okay, watch where the sheep are going. Get that trap back there. Just eating up time.
Nice work, Rebecca and Slash. That's the time at 2:59 and a score 270. Up next we'll have Ron Henderson and Rumble,
It's a time of
followed by
2:59.
Linda Franklin and Sunrise Gus.
All right, this is Brianda Henderson and Rumble. He's off and going down. Nice pickup, going straight for the panels that we want. Nursery, so it's a young dog. Through the first panel. Heading to number 2. She's in a perfect fetch position, so the dog should want to bring him over here and swing around. The handler's right here. Turn, right, nice job through 2. Now we'll head for 3. Nice job covering the draw. There's got him turned around nicely. Now they're going through. Nice job. She's got a nice dive going. Now she's heading for. these are young dogs. They get kind of on the fetch, and then they've got to give a verbal to get them to get off the fetch side. The instinct of these dogs is to bring livestock, so these are all young dogs. So you'll be seeing them fall into that a little more often. Here we are at the pen. She set them up so they go in the pen. 12 points for her. That stops the timer.
Nice job, Ground and Rumble. Full score with a time of 4:38. Up next, we have Linda Franklin and Sunrise Gus, followed by Brian Jacobs and Julie Una, and then on to Becca and Emily.
All right, this is Linda Franklin and Sunrise Gus. They come from Sager, California. Sunrise is in, Gus is in both cattle and sheep. 2 years, 4 months, Border Collie. They've been trialing for a year. And she is owned by Kimberly Bitter. They were reserved North Cow Nursery average winner. All right, we're through number 1. All right, this is the nursery class for the sheep. So this dog was 2.5 years old. Okay, we're working on number 2 here. There they go. Now we're heading to number 3. They're going straight forward at a nice little clip. All right. Time, take it off. For a year, and this dog is owned by Josh Harris. First place both days and overall buckle winner at the David Briggs December trial. So he's getting them turned around so that he can bring them in through. They need to come towards us. And so he's through the first panel, and that would be the tiebreaker time. He's heading to number 2. They're holding the draw. They're pulling pretty hard. I talked about this draw being like a magnet. They're just wanting to really go there. So you want to cover that draw so they don't get glued onto it. So Brian's wearing one of the shirts that they gave us. It's black with MSSA on it. Everybody will have those shirts on this afternoon, 15 minutes after the trial. Take a picture, group picture. This is the 10th year of MSSA, and it's growing every year. All right, we're through number 3, heading to number 4.
Good. Here to me. Come on. Stand. Stand. Yeah, if we need to be fair, it has to go walk. There. Lead. Stand. Lead. Lead.
dog's hair over flanking for him, so he's having to move him back. Now he has panel 4 almost completed. We need 5 through. And now they've all cleared. Now he's working on the pen. Okay, he's got to get them gathered up in front of that pen. So part of MSSA rules is you can't walk through a panel. So I need to find out if 2 is included in that now. The last round, they allowed them to be able to walk through there after they completed it. But that's one of the rules that they have that you have to keep in your head. You can't run. That's always a little tricky. So they do this little MSSA fast walk. This is the nursery dogs. So it's pretty much run almost like an open course with a lot of distance. They have made it slightly easier than what the open dogs ran. Their dogs need quite a bit of training. So he's got one in there. He's putting a lot of pressure on these sheep. That's trying to let him know not to come over him.
Good.
That's a pin, so he's moving to repen, and that is time.
Up next, we have Austin Kleka and Ember, followed by Jeannie Bulkley and Redford, and Guy Johnson and Double J Cap.
All right, this is number 11, Austin, Clax, and Ember. They come to us from Vale, Oregon. This is a 2-year-old female border collie, and they've been trialing for a year. Nice outrun. Now we need to pick them up. Got them turned on the lift, heading to the panel we want them to go. And that's the first panel. So some of the other MSSA rules is you can't walk through the panels, you can't have a herding stick, you can't have a collar on your dog. And then some of the handlers' lines that they have. And there's only a couple pages to the rules, so they're worth taking a note, going in there and taking a read. The filming crew is a local group. They do a great job. They change off, so there's somebody helping them out every once in a while, so they're not on the camera all the time following these dogs. We also have a judge sitting at each of these 4 rings and 2 timer scribe type people helping watch. And then a commentary at each of the rings. This is new that they have a full-time commentator down on sheep.
Come on! Kimber, come on!
Can't even see the dog. You guys see it? Oh, there it is. So there's also a draw to that end. The majority of the sheep are at that end, so they know they come from this far in where they get repinned to that one. So they know there's a gate at each end. So anytime they get close to one of those gates, they think that might be an opportunity to go. All right, got all 5 through. Now we're heading to pin 5. So I'm just going to come up here and hold aside. I'm going to tuck those sheep in. He's using his dog to help hold. He's just holding aside. His dog's helping him. Nice job. Teamwork. Like to see nice teamwork between them. He's got to get the sheep turned to the other side of him. Away. Okay, now you step away from that gate and come around him. Step out. And when the gate closes, that will be time. 4:42 maybe.
Good work, Austin and Ember. That's a full score of 270 at a time of 4:43.
4:43
Up
is
next,
the
we'll have
official.
Jeannie Bulkley and Deaver, followed by Guy Johnson and Double J Cap, and then Brianna Henderson and Cole.
Alright, number 1. Alright, Jeannie Buckley from Boone, Missouri. This is Deaver. And they're entered in both. 3-year-old Border Collie. They've been trialing for a year, and she owns the dog. All right, through the panel we go. Nicely done. Had quite a few finish the course, so I think they want to get done at 6 o'clock. 54, heading to the pin, so she'll come up and hold on her side.
Good.
That's pin. And when the gate closes, the time stops. 2:53.
Convert Genie and Deaver. Does a full score of 270 and a time of 2:54. Up next we'll have Guy Johnson and Double J Cap, followed by Braun Henderson and Co. And then Zach Brady and Brady's Rocket.
All right. This is number 13, Guy Johnson and Double J Cap. They come to us from Ontario, Oregon. They are entered in both. This is a male 3-year-old border collie, and they've been trialing for 2 years. Nice pickup. A little bit of an overflank there, but back online, and he has his tiebreaker points and his points for his first panel. All right, through number 2. All right, these dogs have lots of commands. They probably know right and left better than most people out there in the world. Because usually if they don't take a correct flank, you usually are concentrating on, did you give the right flank? It's pretty amazing how well they can figure it out. And the whistle commands are equal to the verbals, so he's telling him to go by and stop and walk up. So some of these young dogs, they'll add a verbal. All right, through that panel, now he's coming to
Get off. Get off.
the
Get off.
pin.
Get off. There. There. Steady. Steady. Get off.
We just stopped him a hair short. I think if he had taken one more step, he would have had the pin just by the dog swinging around. But it was very lovely. He'd say minute 58. He's got a good time going. Get his dog back there. Got to set him up. Asking his dog to bring him, so that would be on the fetch mode. Nice pin and stop time. 2:17's what I have and what you can see, but we'll hear the official time. That is the leader right now.
Good job, Guy and Cap. That's a full score 270 and a time of 220.
2:20.
Up next we have Braun Henderson and Co. Followed by Zach Brady and Brady's Rocket. And then Ron Inns Innsroth, and Roy.
Clock's not running, so we'll and through number 2. Now we're heading to number 3. I think they see the opening, just need to convince that last one to stay in it. Oh, dump. There you go, that's number 3, heading to 4. Definitely pulling hard to the draw side. Dogs are really having to hold them over on this side, getting them to get a straight line to that number 4. Uh-oh, what happened to our feet? Oh, there it goes. All right. Now we're working on the pen. Sheep are figuring out about penning. They're definitely not as difficult as they were yesterday. Got to get this last sheep in, and he calls the pen. Now we're heading to the repen. Away. There, walk him up. There you go. When the gate closes, that's time.
Nice work, Brianna and Cove. That's a full score of 270 and a time of 3:12. Up next, we're going to have Zach Brady and Brady's Rocket, followed by Ron Innsroth and Roy, and then Dwayne Hayes and Finn's Lila.
We have Zach Brady, Brady's Rocket. They come to us from Blackfoot, Idaho. They are in both. This is a 3-year-old 4-year-old Border Collie, and they've been traveling for a year. All right, he needs to make the fetch panels. So he's going to try to connect with his dog up here. Young dog, the wind's blowing. The wind can really create havoc on the livestock and the dogs and what they can hear. All right, now you gotta get him turned around. There, he's got the fetch panels. I've turned off the arena. I don't know how much wind you want to hear. Now we're heading to number 2 that's up here. He's got the dog a little more settled. There we go. The sheep really know that's the repin because that's where they've been going for the last 2 days, and today is day 3 of the MSS finals. This is the Nursery dogs' second go around. All right, we're through number 3, heading to number 4. He's taking a little bit of the wrong flank here. There we go. Get in his head. These are young dogs. People are nervous out there. He's got number 4 heading to the pen. Gates closed. The time 270 full points. Our screen shows 440. We'll see what they say.
Good job, Zach and Brady's Rocket. We have full score 270 at time of 440. Up next we'll have Ron, Introff, and Roy followed by Dwayne Hayes and Vince Lila, and then Tammy Yost and Todd.
So be sure to check out all our sponsors, and Nutrena, thanking them for all the donations for all the arenas and the support to MSSA. Take an opportunity to take a look at their foods. All right, we have Ron and Roy from Dublin, Texas. Roy is a 2-year-old border collie, and they've been trialing for a year. And through the fetch panels, heading to number 2. He's standing over here so that it looks like a straight fetch for the dog. So he's using what the instinct of the dog is to do the beginning of the course. And he's through number 2. Now he's heading to number 3. So that inside flank crossing in front of you is part of the training. So they're willing to make that step across your plane. So that's why the dog kind of is looking at him a little bit. He knows he's being spoken to back there. All right, there they go. All of them marched through. Uh-oh, here comes another dust devil. Hang on, you guys. Oh, it's passing us. Just went through the sheep arena. All right, he's on number 4. All the great stock handlers are all the juniors out there. They do a great job. They have lead stock person, have communication and walkie-talkies. Okay, we're on the pin now. Dog's holding his side, keeping them lined up. A little bit too much pressure there. Got the pen, now he's moving to the repen. Doing his not a run. Opening the gate, putting the stock in, nicely done. Dog went a little too deep, got him kind of stirred up. There we go. 270. Time of 2:45. We'll see what the official time is.
Nice work, Ron and Roy. With the full score 270 and time of 2:45. Up next we'll have Dwayne Hayes and Vince Lila, followed by Tammy Yost and Ty, then Gilberto Valdez and Tino Lace.
Dwayne Hayes. We had a little difficulty here. All this equipment needs batteries, you know? All right, I'm trying to find the right dog. This is Lily. They come from New Plymouth, Idaho, and they are running in both. This is a 2-year-old Border Collie and is owned by Kate Tufel. All right, he's coming across the back. Heading for number 4. And the wind's really picking up. Sorry we missed the beginning of the run. I guess that little flicker I had earlier was a cue that maybe things were going awry. All right, through number 4. Now we're heading to the pen. The pen's teamwork. It's a little dance between you and the dog. Overflanking, came in a little tight. He was telling him to get out. So he's going to try something different. That's always a good approach. He's moving to the other side. What is that saying about if you've done it once, don't keep doing it again? Can't think of what that saying is. There is actually a saying. He's going to come down here and help his dog get those sheep moving when they get stuck on him. Pretty heavy draw. Hard on these young dogs. So it's a team event. He can move. And this number 2 must be open to walk through now after they've gone through it, which isn't always typical with MSSA, but that's so they can go directly to the pen and they can do what he just did. And they had done that in the open class. They had called it a available space to walk. So we have 4 arenas going today. They're all being broadcasted. I kind of clicked on a couple of them today, and they all have somebody on them. At least when I clicked on them. A little too tight. Gonna make these sheep nervous at the pen. Gotta have them in a safety. He's getting close to time. There we go. All right.
All right. Up next, we're going to have Tammy Yost and Ty, followed by Gilberto Valdez and T.L. Lace, and then Irby Chandler and Marty.
Tammy Yost and Ty coming onto the field, number 18. They're from Big Timber, Montana. They are only in sheep. This 2-year-old Border Collie, first year trialing. 2026 USBCH Nursery Qualifier. All right, that's the hello. How are you? This is the way it's going to go. So this is the 5 minutes of the sheep's day is out here. They have feed water in the back areas. They come on out once and nighty-nighty. All right, so each end has holding pins. So that's through the first panel. These are range, mixed flock, crossbred, Rambouillets, and some things. Wool sheep instead of hair. And we have a really strong draw. These sheep have figured out that that's where they're going to go. So protecting that when you're coming out of this number 2 is going to make up a lot of time. We're through number 3 and heading to number 4. And good little fetching border collie said, well, I'll bring him back to you now that I'm through that panel, but we got one more down there. So the instinct of the dog is to bring the livestock to you. So all this is driving. This is a trained behavior. And the idea is that they learn to drive straight lines and be able to take flanks from a distance. And that's the basis of all this training. Gotta get them out in front of that pen. To keep enough water for this livestock. They're just driving by with the big trucks out there. So above this pen, if you look out in the field, that's where they're doing the cattle field trials. Oh, actually the cattle must be done. They've let out some of the cattle. It almost looks all of them out there. So overflanking a hare, but she held this side this time. So this might work. Look like So our goal is to get all the heads pointing to the fence. So if they keep going right to left, so we don't see the noises pointed to the pen, they're not really thinking about going there. All right. We have number 19, Alberto Valdez and TL Lace. They come from Hanford, California, and they're also in cattle. This dog is 3 years old, and they've been trialing for 2 years. So a nice pickup heading to the pen. He's sort of got him strung out there. He's got to get him grouped up. A little bit of an overflank, so he's going to miss this. So he needs to turn back around. So again, this first panel is the tiebreaker. So they always take the time for that first panel. In all MSSA trials, even the local ones, they do the same thing because you definitely get times on and score ties occasionally. All right, he's getting them settled down, but they're still kind of in a 3-2 ratio here. And that's 4. This one's all right. Get it settled. Now you're lined up. Just a hair over flanking, not quite listening. That's always the challenge of a young green dog. I think it's kind of a stop in this because he's got them pretty jazzed up at the moment. So we got to get him settled down. And he finally got them all through the first panel, and now he's coming up here to number 2. They're still not convinced they want to be together. There we go. And he's got them turned, but they didn't all make it. The last one cut off. Come on. So that back fence is a little challenging. All right, we have Irby Chandler and Marty coming into the ring. Thought I saw his dog. This is a 3-year-old female border collie, and they've been running for 2 years. The dog is gone. That was why I didn't see him. He was right underneath me here. So he's standing close to us so that it...
Irby, we're missing a sheep. Call your dog off and we'll get you a new set.
All right, we only have 4. So we're resetting the stock, so we'll go to a commercial.
From playful pups to cuddly kittens, Loyal Life Super Premium Pet Food makes it easy to choose the product that's just right for your pet's life stage. Every pet has their own special nutritional needs, and we've got the super premium option your family's best friend deserves.
Back with the MSSA National Finals in Afton, Wyoming. I'm here with Chuck representing Nutrena here at the National Finals. Chuck, appreciate your time. It's always good to see you here at these finals. Tell us again why it's so important for Nutrena to have a presence here at this event.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we enjoy coming up here. We really like this, Steve. They invite us up. Coming into these family events, that's us. We're a family business. We're a family company. We have the dog food out there. We also have all the different types of feeds available. But if we can get involved in
Irby and Marty are starting again. Hopefully he gets 5 sheep jumping out.
Hey!
We have the camera running.
Things away for all the kids that are wandering around. And if we can help get more and more kids involved in this, I think it's going to be a success all the way around.
It's always about the next
Can we get the camera?
Right? And the future.
Okay, thank you. All right, they'll play that commercial again, I'm sure, once this trial is done, and it'll be well worth listening to. I did hear it earlier. And this is a great little community here in Star Valley, and all the people at Afton. They're going to have a family day, so they're really looking forward to all that. All right, Marty's working on the second panel here. The sheep are trying to decide, are we going into the pen? Where are we going? For some reason this group says, we'll go to the pen because that means we'll be all done. All right, around they go. Now we're off to 3. Nicely done. He's heading for number 3. Okay, we've got a miss there, so it's going to get him turned around and head back in there. This is an all or nothing, so they have to get all animals through the panel. Got to get them tucked in. There we go. And keep the dog behind. Hopefully this sheep decides to go. Well, that was good. He slowed him down, so it brought that sheep in. Nicely done. Heading over to 4, keeping it at a good clip. All right. They're coming into this number 4. Not quite all of them yet. And we have all 5. Now we're on the pin here. And they wanted to go in when he was going around, so I think if he gets them behind, they'd walk right in. Says Baramu. You guys get over here so we can go to our pen. If you'd come over here. He's baying away. There we go. Get him tucked in. Out of time. 5 minutes. Thank you very much. Good job, Irby and Marty.
Good work, Irby and Marty. Up next, we're gonna have Jeff Christensen and /J Lilly, followed by James Butler and HR Queen, and then Kaylee Heineman and BCD. I'll get your gate, Irby, if you want.
All right, we have Jeff Christensen and /J Lilly. They come from Lippin, Texas. They're running in both. This is a female that's 2 years and 10 months. She's a Border Collie, and it's owned by Jimmy Burrows. The awards for this dog is High Roller Nursery Champion, USBCH Nursery Reserve Champion. It's out on the outrun and through the fetch panels with a nice tiebreaker time. And these sheep are pulling really hard to the draw. Nice turn into 2, and they have pointed as they exited. We are in Afton, Wyoming, and the town is a cute little country town. That's the doorway to the Grand Tetons in Yellowstone. So there he goes. He got all 3 all through there. He's heading to number 4. This is the Mountain State Stock Dog Finals. This is the Nursery Sheepdogs. This class is based on the age of the dog. These dogs are all young, couple-year-old dogs. All right, we're through number 4. We're heading to the pin. Oh, that looked like that didn't feel very good. Okay, that didn't work. He'll try something different. Now he's decided he'll come back over here. Usually you want your dog on one side, you on the other. So dog holding the draw is usually better. Looks like they're going to walk right in now.
Pin.
That was a pin. Can't run, but you can do this fast walk business away. And into the pin they go. All right. Full points. See what the official time is.
Good job, Jeff and Lily. That's a full score of 270 and a time of 331.
331.
Up next, we have James Butler and HR Queen, followed by Kaylee Hyman and BCB, and then Dwayne Roman and Quinn.
All right, we have James Butler and HR Queen. This is number 22. She's a 2-year-old Border Collie owned by James, and he's been trialing her for a year. Number 2. And they're through 2, heading to 3. Gotta have patience at this 3 because they like to sneak around like that. Good job. Tucked them in. Now we're heading to 4. Everywhere those nose pointings, where the rest of the body's going to go. So you need to keep that nose pointing the right direction. And that's going to give the maximum point time because they're going in the straightest line. All right, here they come. And up through number 4. And he's got that turned around, and now he's on the pin. He's coming on in. All right. Now he's going to go to the repin. And when he closes the gate, time stops. We have 2:49. All right. We're in the Trumune powered arena. We want to thank Nutrena for all their work. Everybody go take a look at some of their products that might be working for you. They have a booth here.
Followed by Dwayne Perlman and Holly. Then we'll have Sydney Good and Cash.
And take a look at all the other sponsors that are coming up on the board. Go see what they have to offer. Maybe some of them are for events, some are trainers, all kinds of things. They were sponsored lots of the prizes. We couldn't do this without them. All right, this is Kaylee Hinman and BCB. Out on the outrun, doing a pickup. And a little bit of an overflank there. Now it's good he's overflanked because he's got to get back to that panel. He's got to get him turned. Goes through number 1. Why can't I find him? He's got to be in here. He's got to be in here. All right, there he goes. He's got him turned around and coming to number 2 up here. Oh, finally. Jeez. He comes from Eaglin, Oregon. 2-year-old dog, border collie. He's been trialing for a year. He's heading on to number 3. And you can take a look at the Mountain State Stock Dog Association.com website. That could give you the rules. It's only a couple of pages long. Might be worth reading in between your live feeds here. They also have the results up there. Of course, they have all these live feeds because that's how you know we're talking to you. This is the Nursery sheep class. This class is based on the age of the dog. But as you're seeing, the dog needs quite a bit of training for this. Those flanks, like the dog just did, where it was at 12 o'clock from the handler because he's standing up here and doing what we call an inside flank, is a trained behavior. So now he's coming between and going to try to turn them around. All right, this is Dwayne Herman and Holly, and he's coming to number 4. Now he's working on the pen. pen, and now he's going to the repen. These are all the nursery dogs. They're all under 3 years of age. And in the pen they go. When the gate closed, time stops. That's a smoking time, 1:45. I don't think anybody's been in that zone.
Awesome job, Dwayne and Holly. That's a full score with a time 1:45. Up next, we'll have Cindy Good and Cash, followed by Nina Clark and NC Beth, and then Ray Temple at GFB Panda.
Alright, we have Cindy Good. That is number 24, and Cash. There you come from Spring Hill, Florida. There's Cash. Well, this must be. Well, it's a different name, so I don't know if she substituted or what. I don't know about this dog. And nicely through the first panel. That is the tiebreaker. Coming to number 2 here. Nice and steady walk and flow. Now we'll head over to 3. Want to hold them off that draw. Alright, through number 3. Heading across to number 4. Alright, just got music in motion here. All little heads going forward. That's going to make a good... Alright. Took a little bit to get that flank. And a nice little flank. Get them turned in there. Good. Now we're heading to the pin. She's coming over to get closer. All right, We're heading over to the repen, doing our little MSS walk. Cannot run. That is in the rules. No running allowed. Sometimes they let the speed off for the sort. Time doesn't stop till the dog comes out. So 3:49. We'll see what the official time is.
Good job, Cindy and Cash. It's a full score 270 and time at 3:51. Up next we have Nina Clark and NC Beth,
3:51.
followed by Ray Temple and GFP Panda, with Brian Jacobs and Rue.
Alright, this is dog number 25, Nina Clark and NC Beth. They come from Cisco, Texas. And Beth is also in cattle. She's a 3-year-old border collie. They've been trialing for 2 years. She's 2025 MSSA Futurity Sheep Champion. And she's off on her outrun. And now begins the lift. And now the fetch, and hopefully right through those fetch panels. And that looks like 15 seconds through there, so it's a very fast time. Now she's going to make a turn and come over here to this number 2, keeping all those heads going forward, so they should all be looking at us. Wherever the nose pointing, the rest of the body's going to go. Okay, we're heading to panel number 3. And this is the little dance. Itsy bitsy. There we go. Got everybody dancing through. Now we're going to head across to 4. There we go. Get the camera over. There we go. Thank you. All right. I think the sheep arena is the only one that's running right now. And when it's 15 minutes after this, they'll be gathering everyone for a picture. This is the 10th anniversary. So now we're going to the pen. And that's the pen. And time stops. Nicely done. Full points 270. 251.
That was Nina Clark and NC Beth with a full score 270 and a time of 250.
250 is the official
Up
time.
next we'll have Ray Temple and GFP Panda, followed by Brian Jacobs and Rue, and then Brianna Henderson and Storm.
All right, all our sponsors, take advantage, go to some of these websites, take a look at them, see what they have to offer. Nutrena is our main sponsor in all the arenas. We appreciate all their support. Couldn't do these events without the sponsors. All right, this is Ray Temple and GFB Panda. Oh, now I see him. Lexington, Oregon. Panda is 2-year-old border collie. He's been trialing her for a year. That was the hello and the lift. And missing this panel, he's going to have to get it turned around. So the instinct of the sardine dogs is to bring livestock to you. So right now, this position where the dog is at the other side of the sheep, bringing them to the handler, is their instinct. What they'll do is a tiny puppy. Okay, she's a hair over flanking, so it's getting a, there we go, we got it settled down. Get her flanked and get them going off this pen area. All right, so we are in the town of Afton, Wyoming, and this is the Mountain State Stock Dog Finals, and this is the open sheep class. Ah, wrong class, Nursery. So these dogs are all under the age of 3. All right, quickly went through that panel, and we're heading across to 4. We have lots of sponsors. Nutrena is the main one that takes care of all these arenas and helps us out. So take advantage and take a look at some of their dog foods. And then we have several other sponsors, and that's what we go to commercials on. I know it's crazy. When I was sitting at home the first year watching, I was like, why do they keep going to commercials? Well, it's because we're exhausting sheep or something going on, and we're just trying to get things organized. Fixing the fence, fixing the tarps. Every once in a while they're blowing around. And then we also have to have handlers meetings. So that's what's going on. MSSA has some fun rules. Now he's through 4. He's going to the pen. So at the finals here, you can wear a Western cap or an MSSA hat. So those are your 2 choices, or without a hat, so perfectly okay. But the sun is shining. You can't run with a stick, and the dogs run without a collar. And that is all the way in, and now we're going to move to the repen. And the difference in this than some of the other trials is sometimes this is based on time and not how it's done, but how quickly it gets done. So some of the finesse of the other trials, like putting them in the pen that's being scored, we would take a little extra time to set it up so it's nice and smooth. So those are just some of the differences in the different things that are going on in the dog
Good
world.
job, Ray and GFB Panda. That's a full score 270 and time of 334. Up next we'll have Brian Jacobs and Rue, followed by Brianna Henderson and Storm, and then we'll have Dwayne Hurlman and Quinn.
Okay, so the dog has to be all right, we had to move him back. This is number 28, Brian Jacobs and Rue. So they need to be behind that mark, he and the dog. So the judge moved him back. They are entered in both. This female's 2.5-year-old, and it's a border collie. And this is the first year running, and it is owned by Brent Matrioli. Okay, we're heading to the first panel. we're through the panel and heading to number 2. Have to get all the heads going the right direction and keeping the dog behind. Now getting him turned to go to number 3. Covering this draw so those sheep aren't getting hung up on the draw. Now this is the beginning of the drive. So this is training, not instinct. They like to control the heads and the movement. Huh, mice wear short pants. I'm sitting all the time, so they look like I already have short pants on. Let's see, we're coming across to number 4. So tonight is an auction to collect money for sponsorships for Junior Fund and a dinner for all the handlers. And we're going to the pen. Gotta tuck that sheep in. Sometimes it's hard to tell on the feet if one's sneaking around or not until the judge says pin. So he's calling it very quickly. There was even a couple of runs yesterday where the sheep were jumping out and he'd already called pin because they'd been in. And that's 3:31 is the time on our end. We'll see what they say in full points.
Good work, Brian and Rue. That's a full score of 270 and a time of 3:30. Up next, we'll have Brianna Henderson and Storm, followed by Dwayne Roman and Quinn, and then Kyle Blackery and Jewel.
All right, Brianna Henderson and Storm are on the field. They're from Logan, Utah. And I'm looking for Storm. Storm is a 1-year Border Collie and they've been trialing for a year. All right, through the first panel. Got them lined out even though they started out the wrong way, heading to number 3. All right. She did a sharper turn there. I've been wondering why more have not been doing that. So they didn't get hung up on the draw side. It's very nice. All right, we got to get that single back in.
What's the name of your gal over there in the bib overall sign?
All right, heading through number 4, heading to the pen. Nice even pace, nice straight lines. Getting that dog to get him turned into the pen. That's a pin. Now she's going to the repin. And the gate's closed. 229. See what they say. We are going back to another dog.
270 and a time of 229. Up next, we're going to have Dwayne Hallman and Quinn, followed by Kyle Thackeray and Jewel, and then James Butler and H.R. Grizz.
All right, we're going back to number 6, Dwayne Hurlman and Quinn. Number 6, Dwayne Hurlman and Quinn.
Are you here, Dwayne? Okay, well, I guess we'll go ahead and go on to Kyle Thackeray and Jewel, followed by James Butler and H.R. Grizz.
All right, that'll be number 30, Kyle and Jewel. So this is number 30, Kyle and Jewel. Next dog, this is the open nursery class. They come from Los Lunas, New Mexico. Jewel's a 2-year-old border collie, and they've been trialing for a year. She's out and about on the outrun, and here comes her lift. And we got to get lined out, so we go through that panel 1. She got them stopped. Good job. Then we're going to roll them around. All right, a little bit about MSSA. There's several different classes. There's some age classes. So the age of the person is the old timers over 60, and then the kids class. And I think it's under 19, but I'm not 100%. And then they have classes that are for the age of the dog. So that would be this nursery class, which we're watching, and also the futurity class. Then we have open, which is the highest level, and once you are in open, you can't do the other levels that are handler based. So the handler based starts in novice with little or no experience, and then you move up to intermediate where you have some more experience, and the criteria is on the website. And then open is for experienced handlers who have been doing it. So some of the fun MSSA rules is the dogs run without a collar, and you can't run with a stick. You cannot run. You have to walk. So you have this silly MSSA speed walk that everybody does. It's kind of borderline on running, but you get pretty good at staying low and big stepping it. All right, we're on to panel 4, and we'll be sitting at the pen, and we got a little renegade. So this is all or nothing, so they need to get turned around and go back through it. We're in the town of Afton. There's a little bit of snow behind us, but in front of us you could see the mountains. There's no snow out there. And this has the largest antler arch. Small community with several really nice restaurants. Not fancy, but really good food. Actually, all our concessionaires that we have on site are quite good. So we have a lot of shopping here, and then on Saturday it's going to be family day where everything's free for the locals. So it's kids can have face painting, bouncy walls, and all kinds of things. All right, Kyle is on the pin. He's got a nice time going. To qualify to come to finals, you have to attend some of the local trials. So that is a pin for him. So he's going to the repin now. And so he's got to get them out. And we want to get those sheep on the other side so they'll go in the pin. So each stock is separate with MSSA, so you could qualify just on sheep or on cattle or both. All right, that's 270 and a time of 3:51. We'll see what the official time is.
Good job, Kyle and Jewel. That's a full score 270 and a time of 3:51. Up next, we're going to have in James Butler and HR Grizz.
All right, we're on number 31, James Butler and Grizz. Remember to take a look at Nutrena's dog food products for your dog and support some of our sponsors that we have being posted in between. When we're switching handlers, we're giving you an opportunity to see some of them. All right, he's coming in with Grizz. And he's running several dogs, so I haven't found Grizz. Well, this is nursery class, so he is under 3. You can go to the MSSA website and see the rules for the events. They have the placings. They're posting in real time. They're getting them up quite quickly, so you can take a look at how everybody's been doing. All right, that's the first panel for Grizz. Now he's coming over here to 2, slightly overflanked there. All right, now we're through number 2. And we're going to get him up there to number 3. If you're watching at the end of the day, you're kidding me. a little tired. We've been going since 6:30 this morning. It's 4 o'clock now. So we've only had a couple breaks. I've gone and walked dogs. I ran in my dog, and but he's doing a nice job doing this pen. I'm gonna sink those stock right in there. Nicely done. Now we're gonna go to the repen. The sheep are out. See if he gets them set up so they just walk right in. And when the gate shuts is when time stops. 3:07. Full points. We'll see what they have to say.
Good job, James and Chris. That's a full score 270 and a time of 3:06. Up next, we'll have Dwayne Hayes at 2:08 Canelo, followed by Shane Ellenwood and S.E. Jen.
All right, here comes the dog, Dwayne Hayes, number 32 and 208 Canola. They come from New Plymouth, Idaho. This dog is owned by Jeff Clausen. It is a 2-year-old border collie, and they've been trialing for a year, and they are also on cattle. And the dog is away. A little bit of overflank and circling. Let's get back down there where you belong. There you go. Good job. Remember, these dogs are young. This was just a 2-year-old. And through panel 1. Now we're heading to 2. A little bit of an overflank. That just means an overflank, just going too far and getting the livestock stopped. Now that's panel 2, heading to number 3. I would not want these sheep on this back fence. This draw to the back fence is like they're a magnet and there's another magnet back there, and it's just pulling them with all its power to go together. And so the dog's in the middle trying to push it away. So you want to catch that before it makes that connection. Just like you're pulling 2 magnets. Once they're far enough away, it's all good and you can travel with them. All right, here we go through number 3. He's got them kind of looking in the right direction. Hopefully that front one sees the hole. And there we go. Everybody through. Number 3, heading over to 4. This is common. The dog wants to fetch him back, so he's giving a counter flank. So he'll head to number 4. This is a trained behavior to drive livestock away from you. Their natural instinct is to bring things to you. And our lovely wind has started up again, so we'll see how we go here. Another thing, when I first came to this, after watching it on the screen at home and watching live and I guess reruns so that I could watch all the performances, is the competitors and people don't really get to see any of this.
Unless they turn on their computers and watch, and it's kind of fun. You can sit in one spot at home.
So the judge answered that that was clear, I believe, is what he said. So he's on the pin now. So when you're here on site, if you're up at the top of the grandstands, which is where both the upper and lower arenas, the cameras are basically sitting just a few feet apart from each other, and they're shooting down into the arena. For the lower arena, it's shooting into the upper arena, so they're definitely able to see both arenas from the top of there. And you might even be able to see the field from up there. And I guess if you looked carefully, you could see the sheep. But otherwise, if you're down at sheep, that's all we see. Long, busy days out here. And each dog, unless you get in multiple events, like these nursery dogs could be in fraternity, nursery, and, well, no, they can't be in nursery. The nursery dogs can be in open or intermediate, whatever the level the handler is. And if they're in open, they can also be out in the field. And if they're a nursery dog, they can be out in the field. So there's a bit of an advantage there. So I believe he's still working on the pin. He's about ready to run out of time. All right, we are all finished with that run.
All right, up next we have Shane Ellenwood and S.E. Jen, followed by Sunny McMurrin and Gemma, and then Shirley Schold and Katie R. Both.
We have number 33, Shane Elwood and S.E. Jean coming into the arena from Banner, Wyoming. Jen is a female 2-year-old border collie, and they were the 2026 Black Hills Reserve champion. And the dog is off on its outrun. That's what we call this portion till they come to the top. And now the lift. And we've tried to move out of the legs, but we still get them occasionally, but that's a better spot than when we're standing at the... So very nicely he came through that center with really nice tiebreaker time. So since it's just time and points, the time is set pretty tight. And so that is the second panel. And tight meaning that not everybody's possibly going to finish it, and it has to be a smooth and straightforward run. And so that would help with taking care of the livestock, because if it's not a good run, you're going to run out of time before anything with the livestock. So we want to take good care of them, but you want to make sure there's enough time that it's doable. All right, there's number 3, and he's heading number 4, keeping those sheep in a straight line. This dog's doing a nice job keeping them moving in a nice straight line. Now he's making the turn to number 4. Very nicely done. He's coming up to the pin so that he can hold aside for Jen. She's going around. She's going to have the draw. He's going to have the offside. And that's a pin. Now he's going to the repen. And now we get to see the little MSSA fast walk. And a truck over there, can't run. He's getting those sheep set up on the correct side. Opening the gate, and in they go, and the gate is closed, and that is time 2:14. Nice job. Our fastest time was 1:45.
That's its full score of 270 and a time of 2:13. Up next we'll have Sunny Muherin and Gemma, followed by Shirley Scholl and P.E.R. Bow, and then James Butler and / J. Hollis.
All right, number 34, Sunny Moheran and Jimmy are coming on the field. They are from Dyer, Kansas. They are also in cattle. It's a 2-year-old border collie, and they've been trialing for a year. And this is dog number 34, Sunny Moheran, and the dog is off. And that's the outrun. There's the lift, pointing right at the panels. Nicely done if it was being judged. The straight line to the fetch panels. Full points. Nice time to there. Now he needs to come over here to the second panel. So whether it's time and points or it's judged, it would be very nice at this point. The scoring of, if it's scored, the stop's on course, so there was a stop there, turn that they weren't going in the path they needed to be. There he's got number 2, and again off the path, so there's something there. So just giving you an idea, the difference between time and points and all those things that I'm mentioning would actually slow the run down, right? So there's not much difference, so people could be doing both venues. Might want it a little slower if it's being judged, but the straighter the line, the more controlled the sheep. By the time you get to the pen, hopefully the pen will be much faster. So it's nice getting over to 4, getting the dog to cover that. Because again, they know that that's a pen back there they could get into, and they would like to do that. These guys keeping those dogs coming in there, getting used to this wind. All right, the sheep are through the panel, and now he's setting up for the pen, getting them turned, getting the dog out. He's a little too far out that he's not going to make the connection till he gets down here. But that was nice. So it was being judged. They had gone to the back fence instead of to the pen. So again, it's just a time thing versus points. So I don't know if people think that's fun, but sometimes they say, oh, it's totally different. But it really isn't, because still the smoothest runs that you take things in a straight line is going to get you the most results. Okay, he's going to walk that sheep up. This dog has a nice wide flank, so he's hoping he'll keep the stock settled as he comes in. And he's called the pen. Even though that sheep's out, it doesn't matter. He's called the pen. Can just bring them out. Why come by? No way. So trying to get him the habit to go to that side and go in the pen. And we stop time. 3:43 is what I have. We'll see what the bosses get.
Good job, Sunny and Gemma. That's a full score 270 and time at 3:42. Up next, we'll have Shirley Scholl and PR
3:42.
Bow, followed by James Butler and / Jay Hollis, and then Dwayne Hurlman and Quinn.
But they made a live action. This might think of live action past like just years. I think the 100 probably so much. Oh, actually, that's
All right, this is Shirley Scholes. She comes from Richland, Oregon. They're also, Bo and her are also in cattle. This is a male, 1.5 old border collie, and they've been trialing for a year. So the dog's down there on the outrun, and now we're beginning the lift. Now we need to get the lift facing the obstacles we want to go to. Nice line. And a little bit of an overflank there, so she has to make an adjustment. Very common for the young dogs to do an overflank. So now she's on to her second panel. Gonna make the turn down here. Here we go, nicely done. There's number 2. Heading to number 3. Covering that draw so that the magnet pull of the exhaust pin doesn't suck these sheep in to get them started. You're taking up time, having issues with them. So if it's a judged course, if they're split like that, there's points off. But again, there's a time consequence for all that. All right, it's on to number 4. Now we're heading up here to the pen. That's a pin. She's going to move to her repen. you need the sheep on the other side of that open gate so you don't have those things happen. It's one of my lessons things. Seeing a lot of handlers get hurt in those situations. So I do more of the judging where you have to score all this, so that's what I'm more used to. I will say time and points takes just as much effort and amount of time because you've got to concentrate. You got to watch those lines so quickly. So it's still judging.
We got James Butler up next with Hollis, and then Dwayne Hurleman with Quinn.
All right, we're on number 36, James Butler and slash Hollis. They come from Central Texas. This is a 2-year-old Border Collie that James owns. All right, just overshot that a little bit. It's going to get it turned around. We have the wind again, so I'm going to turn this off. All right, we'll try this a little bit and cut off. All right, he's done the first. He's working on the third. And now we're heading over to the fourth. The goal is to keep all those sheep together, traveling at the same speed. So getting them collected up and all together again is his goal here. And now he's coming in this panel. That was a fast pin. Now he needs the repin. That was borderline running. And time is 2:27. We'll see what the official time is.
Good job. Yeah. Good job, James and Hollis. Or Hollis? That wasn't Hollis. Oh yeah, it was Hollis. That's Hollis. With a score of 270 and a time of 2:30.
Time
Up
is
next, we're going to have
2:30
in
for
Wayne
Hollis.
Perlman and Quinn, followed by Ray Temple and GFB Stick, and then Mary White-Carver and Jack.
All right, this is number 6 coming in. Dwayne Perlman and Quinn. Not sure where he was, but he's got here now. And so again, it's number 6, Dwayne Perlman and Quinn. Okay, number 6, Dwayne Perlman and Quinn. So hopefully we'll get it changed. They're coming up the fetch and missing that panel. So again, this is number 6, Dwayne Perlman and Quinn. I won't. Okay, we're trying to get that fixed to number 6, Dwayne Hurlman and Quinn. And I'm also trying to look him up in the wind. They're from Cordell, Oklahoma. Thank you very much for getting an update. We are on to the 3rd panel now. Appreciate it. These guys, this is a local production crew. And there's only this ring going now. And they're always out of order, so it's a little tricky for these guys to keep up with us. So we really appreciate it. They do sporting events. All right, so that's number 3. Heading across to number 4. He's stepping up to the pin to hold his side. Nice. Sheep are getting a little better about pinning. All right, Quinn is also in cattle and out in the field. They've been trialing for 2 years. This is a 3-year-old Border Collie. And he was the 2025 NCAA National Champion on horseback. All right. Should be calling it, pin. Now we're moving to the repin. We've got our little fast walk going. Get over there, get those sheep on the other side of that pin. And around we go. Stepping out to help speed it up. And close the gate, and that's time, 3:09. Not sure what official time, full points, 270.
Good job, Quinn and Dwayne. That's a full score of 270 and a time of 3:11.
All right, 3:11 is the
We'll have
official.
Ray Temple and GFB Stick, followed by Mary Weiscarver and Jazz, and then Ron Instroff and Bo.
All right, we're back to number 37. This is Ray Temple and GFB Stick. And the sheep are out. Number 37, Ray Temple and GFB Stick. We're on the outrun, heading to the panel. Number 37, Ray Temple, GFB Stick. All right, we're having some glitches with the equipment. He's going through 2 right now. Heading over to 3. Hopefully they get it started up here. My camera girl is following it, but I don't have a picture. Yeah, because I don't know when it'll start up. He's going through 3, so he's having a nice run. He's heading across. They're heading to the back fence, coming across the pen. Now he's getting him turned nicely, heading to number 4. Now I feel like a radio announcer. He's got to tuck him into the fence so that he gets him in 4. And now we have a picture. Thank you very much. It is the wrong dog. It is 37 Ray Temple and GFB stick, but we have a picture. Thank you very much. And now he's on the pen. I'm sure he's got a nice time going. This is 37 Ray Temple and GFB stick. And this is the nursery class. He's got the pen. We'll have to wait to hear the time once we have it up. All right. And it's when all the sheep go in and the gate is closed. Time stops. And we'll just wait for what they have to tell us.
Good work, Ray and Stick. That's a full score of 270 with a time of 2:34.
2:34
Up next
is
was Mary
that time.
Weiscarver and Jazz, followed by Ron Innsbroth and Bo, and then Mike Thompson and Jet.
All right, coming into the ring is number 38, Mary Weiscarver and Jazz. We still have sheep in the arena, but she's here. So we need to wait till those sheep are exhausted out of there. And she's from Mayer, Arizona. And she is running Jazz. Jazz is a 2-year-old border collie, and they've been trialing for a year. There we go. She got them lined out for that first panel. And I've known her family for a while. I've known her since I believe she was 8 years old. I'll probably be in trouble when she was trialing her first dogs at the Australian Shepherd Nationals and in the Arizona trials. So it's always fun to see her. She's always a team player with her dogs. This draw to this back fence is just really strong. The best example I have is the sheep are one magnet and the back fence sheep are another. And when you get it too close, you have that pull where they just want to hang out together. And you got to undo that pull like you're yanking two magnets till they pop. And that's exactly what happens is you get out of that pressure and it just kind of pops. All right, we're on panel 3. Nicely done, nice and smooth. She has those sheep just marching. All right, we got to get them grouped up and brought together. These are young dogs. They can get focused in one track mind. Getting them to think about the whole group. There we go. Sometimes that happens when you're working on drives. Nice square flank. When she gave her the go by, she's almost turning straight away in a 90 degree. Okay, now this sheep needs to clear the panel. There we go. I'm just going to turn back. All right. All right, I believe one missed. So this is all or nothing, so she'll have to go back down there. Okay, working their way back down to that panel. Right, we have about 10 more dogs left in the class. There's a total of 49 in this class. And we're heading in this pin, and so she'll get the pin points, but she has run out of time. All right, that was full points.
Good work, Ron and Bo. That's a full score of 270 and a time of 309. Up next, we'll have Mike
309.
Thompson and Jet, followed by Linda Franklin and 50, and then Ray Temple and GFB Little Girl.
All right. We have number 40, Mike Thompson and Jet in the ring. They come to us from Hobbs, New Mexico. Jet's a 2.5-year-old border collie female, and they've been trialing for a year. All right, through the first panel. Now he's heading over to number 2. All right, we had a question in the gallery, so I'll share it with all of you. Somebody here is asking about why we can't have collars. And
all right, pull that out. Fix that.
Put it back together. So one of the reasons that you don't have a collar on your dog is they could get tangled up with the sheep somehow, get a hoof hooked in it, something could happen, or they could hook onto something. So you don't want them to get hung up in it. And there are training collars that can be put on dogs, so they'll weight the collar. So just no collar, just like no training sticks. I personally never work stock without, or at least cattle without some kind of stick to help me out, but that is their belief. It's an added training aid, so they do that. I think no running's probably a safety issue, although we did have somebody get hurt today on the sort, which is an okay run zone, so maybe it's a good plan. All right, we're working on that number 3. And there we go. All right, we're going across. He's got to tuck them back in. So some of the commands they're giving, come by or go by, is as time goes by. Away to me is counterclockwise, so he'll give an away whistle right here. Nice square flank, nice down. Then he's asking his dog to walk up. There means that that's where he wants it to walk. Sometimes sheep just like to jump. I don't know if you've seen them up here. It's like there's a shadow in the air and they're going to go flying. I'm kind of surprised how many people jump in front of them and try to stop them. My experience is they could just fly over the top of you. They're not like cows. Cows definitely will turn off of you. So I've had a couple cow guys try to stop sheep and got taken out. So it's not a good position to be in front of these little monsters, because they have a tendency to just go flying. That's their answer. All right. We'll see if he got his pin put back together enough that he's going to get him in there. This is all part of his time. They need to go in the pen. He needs to close his gate, and no dog in it. All right. Full points. We'll see what the time is.
Total score 270 and a time of 4:07.
4:07.
Up next we have Linda Franklin in 50, followed by Ray Temple and GFB Little Girl, and then we're going to go to James Butler and / Jay Hayes.
All right, they're fixing the fence right now, so we're on Bragg. We are in Afton, Wyoming, established in 1902. They have an antler arch. It's in the middle of the town. All right, we have our handler. It's Linda Franklin and 50. They come to us from Sager, California. She's calling for her sheep right now. She's entered in both. This is a female, 2-year, 3-month border collie, and they've been trialing this year. All right, we're going to straighten up the line, hopefully. Well, we got 2 through. This is an all or nothing deal, so she's got to turn them around, take them back down there, set up that panel. So she's getting them settled up here and heading down there. All right, they're about ready to come through. All right, and that number 1 panel is also the tiebreaker panel. What that means is this time and points. So if they have full points and they happen to have the exact same run time, they would use that panel to separate the dogs. All right, now we're on to number 2. We really don't want these sheep back at this back fence. Want the dog, she's blocking, but getting the dog to come down and make this turn. Where are you, little creature? There you are. It's coming down the fence, so it was definitely out of the camera. All right. Heading up to number 3. And we're on our dance. Itsy bitsy spider. No, don't go that way. Just went to the fence just a hair instead of just a little dance there. Gotta get those heads turned. And here they go. All right, we're coming up to this number 4. Slowing it down. All right, got them tucked around. Get those other turned to follow through. All right, they're through number 4. right, we're on the pin. Dog got him stopped right in front of it. Gonna turn him. That's the pin. Gonna take him out. Oh my goodness. This is so hard because this is so important in the venues I do, setting up a pin. And it's so true, when you don't set it up right, you just create an issue. So she did not get full points with a 5.
Alright, up next we're gonna have Ray Temple and GFB Little Girl, followed by Jeannie Biggerson / JT Bird, and then James Butler and / Jay Hayes.
All right, I see a dog, number 42, Ray Temple and GFB Lil Girl from Lexington, Oregon. They're also on cattle and out in the field. This is a 2-year-old border collie, female. That's a year old. All right, through number 1 and 2, heading to number 3. All right, the pull to the back fence. We have 7 dogs left after this. Get them turned to head to number 3. There we go. And we're off to number 4. He's got to get him lower in the field, so he's got to drive him down there. This is the direction we went yesterday. You could take them through or now turn them away. There we go. Now they're getting up to the repin, or center pin, sorry. Okay, got to get it slowed down so they can see the pin, otherwise they're going to run to the repin. All right. There's that pull again. You see, you've got to really work hard to get them turned around and pulled back up there. There we go. Now get them turned into the pin. Away, stop, stop, stop. And that's a pin. Judge calls it, and then you go on. And away. Away. It's a bad little dry. All right, the gate is closed. 270. Time of 3:08 by our clock.
Good job, Ray and Little Girl with a full score of 270 and a time of 3:09. Up next, we'll have Jeannie Biggers and / J T-Bird, followed by James Butler and / J Hayes, and then Mary Weiscarver and Thea.
All right, the time on that last dog was 3:09. This is now number 43, Jeannie Biggers and / J T-Bird. They live in Ontario, Oregon, and she's a 1.5-year-old Border Collie. Okay, she's away on her outrun. Jeannie's one of the board of directors of MSSA. She's probably the one answering and texting us and doing all those things, telling us, takes the entries, does all the results. Okay, she's coming to number 2. Nice, and away. Why? Well, I'm confused why everybody's putting the stock right there. All right, now we're walking up to number 3. Heading to 3. Nice, that's number 3, heading to 4. Heading nice pace across. All right, we're through number 4. Nice pace, come into the pen. Get them straight in the pen. Step. Okay, we're on our little waltz here. Now we have to go over and over and away buzzer, so not full points.
Alright, up next we have James Butler and / J Hayes, followed by Mary Weiscarver and Thea, and then Shauna Dillard and Coach.
Coach. There's another coach. Look at that. Butler and Hayes.
Dog name today I really like.
All right. We have number 44, James Butler and / J Hayes. This is a 2-year-old border collie. They've been trialing for a year. I wonder if those two are related with the same kennel name and both in nursery. Must be. I think Jeannie bred her dog. All right. All right. There's through. Now we're coming to number 2. And they have exited 2. Nice covering there. A little over flank. It's a lot of pressure for a young dog. There. It's a little dance. Come on, turn around. Look at the hole. Go in. There we go. All right, we're heading over to number 4. They are through number 4, heading to number 5, which is the pen. Right, sneak them around that panel, away, away, stop. They're in the pen. It's a good time, not a winning time, but we're on it. Nice pen, nice setup, just gonna make the time work. Good job. 270, 240, 8. All right, we're nearing the end. We're down to our last 5.
/ J Hayes, that's a full score 270 and a time of 247. Up next we'll have Mary Weiscarver and Thea, followed by Shauna Dillard and Coach, and then Cindy Good and SR Nash.
Coming in the rings, number 45, Mary Weiscarver and Thea. She comes from Mayer, Arizona. This is a 3-year-old border collie, and they've been trialing for a year. And we're off. This is number 45, Mary Weiscarver and Thea. Thank you. All right, through number 1, heading to number 2. Nice turn. Staying connected. Keeping that away from that draw. Nicely done. Puts them a little high on 3, but you don't lose that time down there. You're aiming right at it. Nice. All right, she missed with 1. All right, we're doing the dance to number 3 again. This is all or nothing. They have to get all the animals through all the panels.